What is going on, you guys? Bastion White here coming at you with another video. Okay, so today I want to talk to you guys about this new Magibullet or Magical Musketeer archetype. I'm just calling it Magibullets for now just because Magical Musketeers is way too long. Anyway, there's been a lot of hype about this archetype, some people going as far as calling it the next Zodiac. Now let me start off by saying that even though the Magical Musketeers or Magibullets can be very powerful and can add resources back to their hand through their effect to their monsters, and that's really cool and all, they will never be even close to what Zodiac was. On paper, this deck is absolutely broken. All Magibullet monsters gain their effects when a spell trap is activated in their column, basically shutting down the column for your opponent, which is cool. Then, they have the crazy effect that you are allowed to activate the Magibullet spells and traps from your hand at any time, which is also crazy because your opponent will never be able to pop or prepare for them. This also increases the mystery because your opponent will not know which cards that you have in your hand are monsters or bluffs or spells and traps. Now, this isn't the first time that we have seen the ability to activate back row from your hand. We saw this in the Phantasm Spiral archetype that came out in, I believe it was Maximum Crisis. Now, I'm not directly comparing the two decks because Magibullets are much more resourceful and don't heavily rely on the field spell, but they do share some weaknesses. For example, if you get Kaiju, there's literally nothing you can do if you're a Phantasm Spiral player or if you're a Magibullet player. You just have to sit there and watch as your opponent kills you. Magibullets are not a deck that can spam out monsters onto the board, and its inability to do so is a huge weakness because most times your turn consists of summoning one monster and passing, hoping that you have the outs to your opponent's cards in your hands, and praying that they don't get your one weak Magibullet off the field. That's another thing. All Magibullet monsters have very low attack points and rely too heavily on having just the right spell or trap in hand to out the situation. Another thing is that fact that they are all fiend type monsters, meaning that there is no search card to find your copies of Caspar or Starfire, making the deck inconsistent because without those two, you have no way to search what you need, limiting your quote-unquote ammo to just what's in your hand. Now, there are ways that you can add cards to your hand that can kind of work around this. You can play cards like Power Duality, which I highly recommend because you don't really special summon unless you have Starfire or Tyzer's Brethren in your hand. But if you have that, then you don't need to activate Power Duality. I also highly recommend playing cards like Double Summon because you're gonna need to summon a lot of monsters. Like I said, this deck lacks the ability to do so, and you're gonna have to have multiple Magibullets on the board to be able to disrupt your opponent even more. Besides that, Honest is a card that I see people playing around with. I don't really recommend it because it takes away from an already inconsistent type of deck. And having Honest, which is cool because the Magibullet monsters are pretty weak, is kind of a drawback. Yeah, cards like Double Summon, Toon Table of Contents, which is very good. Sometimes you draw the Toon World, which sucks, but you can discard it. Maybe play a Twin Twister, also pretty good card, get cards that are dead out of your hand. But you're definitely going to want to max out on Shooter the Kid, Starfire, and Caspar. Those are your three main searchers of the deck that make the deck so much more consistent, or less inconsistent for this case. So yeah, that's my opinion on this archetype, guys. Now, if anyone wants to build a deck because it's fun, or I think the archetype is cool, then by all means go for it. I personally really like the deck because I love the artwork and I think the playstyle is fun. I love Phantasm Spiral, and this is an even better version of that. However, I would not take this deck to any tournaments because I know that there are cheaper and stronger options out there, like Pendulum Magician, because Caspar is still like $30, I think $25. It might have dropped a little bit, I haven't checked, but it was like $30, and you need 3 of those, and Starfire is also quote-unquote short print, I don't really know. I personally think there are better options. I think it's a good rogue deck. I think it can do okay at like a regional. However, at a YCS, I just don't think it's going to do well. I think it had a chance to do, it performed in one YCS and it didn't get any tops. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, leave a comment saying how you feel about Magibullets. And alright, I'll see you on the next one. Later.
I gonna